Yeah, so we obviously had our big weekend last weekend where we played Iowa State, and then it's kind of nice sometimes to get a bit of a break in your schedule, where we've had a little bit of time to deal with the fine-tuning of the tactical piece. We had a lot of games during pre-season where we didn't really get time to dive into the coaching, and it was just game after game, so it's more recovery. So we've really had to dial in the last 10 days on getting prepared for these two games and tighten some things up defensively, work on some things offensively, and put the pieces together so we're ready to go for the next phase of the season, which is two really big games this week. So it's been a good 10 days getting together and working on some things. So
open it up to questions here.
How do you keep the team dialed in after such an exciting start to the season? You get that win in Ames, and then there's the 10-day dead period. How do you keep the energy or try to manage that?
Yeah, we try and keep it competitive at training. So, everything we do is for points. So we're trying to keep, the scrimmages. We have played a couple of games, so we wanted to kind of keep the match fitness up. Last Friday we had a really big session overload, but it was more 11v11 based, and so we got the kind of feel for a game in the middle of that week. Talked a little bit about this is that time of year where players are knocking on the door asking about playing time, and so it was a good week for us to be able to give some feedback to players on what they need to do. So, when you're talking about those little things, the players know they have to be competing every single day anyway to get into the team for this week. So that freshens things up a little bit for us and keeps them competitive. So, and then just putting them into situations. Players love to play. So we've done a lot of playing over the last 10 days, as well as dialing in on some small little details. We've done a lot of playing, and then we get my two assistant coaches involved, and they coach one team and the other one coaches the other, and they wind the players up a little bit and get after it. So it's competitive. They keep finding ways to keep them competitive at training. So it's been good. Yesterday was a little bit of offense versus defense, and Coach Scott came out on top and Coach Toby lost, so there was a little bit of disappointment from the forwards, but it was really competitive, which was good. And then Toby had to pay for the golf yesterday as a result, so it was good.
I think you might have talked about it a little bit last week. What have you tried to tell the team about Western Michigan from your experience playing?
Yeah, so what people don't understand, it's very easy this week because we've got Nebraska to take your eye off the ball on Thursday, and I'll tell you right now, Western Michigan's going to be just as effective as Nebraska. Western Michigan's going to be probably a top 75 RPI team this year, so this is a game that could potentially have NCAA tournament ramifications on it. So this game on Thursday is going to be just as big of a game as Sunday against Nebraska. Western Michigan's a conference champion. They're very gritty, they're very physical. We know exactly what we're going to see from them. They're a really good team, they're really well coached, they're really organised, and they're horrible to play against. So we've got to be ready for that, and we've been trying to prepare the team for that this week with the way we train in, the way we compete in. So they're going to see a different side on Thursday, because we're trying to say to them, you want to take 3-4 touches on the ball, you're not going to get time to do that. So this game is really important. We have to focus purely on Thursday right now, and then once we've got Thursday, that game taken care of, then we can really start thinking about Nebraska. But no one can afford to take their eye off the ball, because Western Michigan's a really, really good team.
This is the last time we're going to talk to you, at least in this setting, before you head to Lincoln. So what kind of a test will that offer your team? And you're playing against a team that advanced to the Elite Eight last year.
Yeah, it's going to be a really big test. Western Michigan, first of all, is going to be a big test, but then Nebraska is going to be a very good test. They went to the Final Eight. There's a lot of rivalry with this game. Like, I've only been here since January properly, and I know there's a lot of rivalry between Creighton and Nebraska. I know everybody at Creighton always wants to see us knock off Nebraska, and Nebraska's the big dog in town, and they want to stay on top. So this is going to be a really, really good opportunity for us. I look at it as an opportunity for us to get closer to where they've been. It's a great opportunity for a lot of our players that hear about Nebraska all the time, and they're a pretty high-profile institution. There should be a lot of grit for us to want to go in there and hopefully try and knock them off. It's a rivalry game. It's a one-off. So, they may have a few more pieces right now, but it's a one-off game. And if we come to play and you come to compete, anything can happen. So we're going to be training ready to go. And I feel like some of our players all they hear about is a lot of Nebraska stuff. So especially on the soccer side the last few years. So I'm hoping our girls take a little bit of that personal and coming out and try and You know, it'd be great to knock them off on Sunday. But they're going to be a really good team. They're really well coached. They've got some really good players, and we're going to have to be at our very best on Thursday first of all, and then on Sunday. An average performance isn't going to be good enough to beat these teams. So everybody's going to have to be at an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for us to compete in these two games. So, but it's exciting. Looking forward to it.
What have you learned from the players and the fans? You mentioned you've just gotten here and you're realizing like this is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, just yesterday, our rowing coach, Mr. Chips, and I saw him at the end of practice. He said, it's Nebraska this week. He said, you know we've got to beat them, right? And it's just, so everybody knows there's that rivalry. People in town, I know there's a lot of Creighton fans, especially in Omaha, that want to see Creighton do well. And it's amazing to see so much pride in the institution. That was one of the things that drew me into the position here. Even the little kids at camp in the summer coming here, there's a lot of Creighton fans. But yeah, that rivalry, I love it. I grew up on that in England. Being in Birmingham, Aston Villa, Birmingham City was always a big rivalry. My dad's from Scotland, so Rangers Celtic, those rivalries were always big. So I love that in soccer. I don't think you see enough of it. So, you know, coming from a country that really values those rivalries, I'm really excited about that. And as a coach, you want to test yourself against the best, right? That's why we're here. So I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Any more questions for Coach?
What have you learned about this club in the first couple matches that you've gotten a chance to take the pitch with them in this new role?
So the first thing I'll say is I love coaching this team. Are they fully polished in every aspect? Absolutely not. But what they do day in, day out is they give their best effort. They're honest, hard-working players that come to train, come to work hard. They're gritty, they compete. And I'll take that as a coach. I love that type of a team. I love, you know, you can do a lot with those types of players. I've coached teams that have had lots of talent that don't work particularly hard. I'd much rather take a team that's blue collar that works hard, and that's what this group have been. They've bought into what we're trying to do. They're working really hard day in, day out. So as a staff, we love coaching this group, and we're really excited about the future with them.
Anyone in particular that stood out or really caught your eye?
There's a lot, like looking from the back, our goalkeeper's come in and done really well, and there's been good competition for that place. You know, the back line is pretty talented, and you know, we've had one or two little injuries that we hope to get back this week that will really help us, but the back line have been chippy. We've got some talented midfielders on the day that can be good. So there's not one player in particular that stands out. I think that's what's nice, is we have depth and we're adaptable. So yeah, that's what's nice about this group. There isn't just one superstar player. There's a lot of good kids that are working really, really hard. So
Anything else? Perfect. Thank you.
good. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.